A Good Samaritan stopping a suspected thief from snatching an elderly woman's purse.
Some people think they can sneak into places they shouldn't be and outsmart the whole world. But what happens when the prey turns predator? From the unassuming homeowner to the fearless kung fu master, these thieves had no idea about the fight that awaited them.
You might call it a frying pan frenzy of a situation.
Get ready for a wild ride where audacity meets its match in the most unexpected ways. With makeshift weapons, unflinching courage, and quick reflexes, justice takes on a life of its own. And for these criminals, the tables turn faster than they could have imagined. Number 1. Car thief caught by the homeowner. Let's jump right into it. This thief must have thought he would do a quick job of stealing from this homeowner's vehicle. However, the guy who lives here wasn't going to let it slide. As soon as he notices that something is up here, he runs out and tries to catch the thief in the act. The guy quickly runs away down the street, but the vehicle that we see parked there is actually driven by an accomplice and a getaway driver who saw what was happening and essentially made an attempt at the homeowner's life by driving right through him. The awesome homeowner, however, managed to do a cool slide and avoid serious injuries he could have sustained if he had been squished against his own truck. Once he got to the safety, he grabbed his phone, making sure he recorded footage that may help catch these guys later on. Like and subscribe right now and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week. Number 2. A fearless justice warrior. Why isn't it a good idea to try and rob a Rolex store in the broad daylight? Well, the answer may surprise you. Instead of some exquisite security measures, which, let's just mention, are definitely set in place, the Spider-Man-colored figure that we see running towards the thieves is actually the protagonist of the story. This old lady shows no fear, and using her bag as a nunchuck, she actually battles 5 of these guys and manages to create enough ruckus to chase them away. As they're retreating on their scooters, one of them falls over, earning a few more hits from the 75-year-old woman, and then other civilians and a cop join the chase to put a stop to this robbery by capturing some of the thieves. Number 3. Don't mess with Marines. Oh boy, have these wannabe thieves chosen the wrong target? They tried to assault a guy and entered through a garage, but little did they know that this fellow was about to throw a serious fight. He will soon teach them that they could get more than they wanted from this experience. As he was about to secure his vehicle, they used pepper spray on him from the back, but even through the tears, this brave guy wasn't going to back down. He chased after them and was joined by his neighbor who offered help as well to chase them away. Number 4. Handled with care. The guy who attempted to rob this store should have paid attention to the caution sign we saw on the floor and the man who was trying to keep the place clean. Well, he definitely did a great job, considering that he jumped in the middle of the robbery and put the fellow in a headlock, trying to make him unable to use the weapon that he carried into the store. The clerk, however, wasn't faint-hearted. He drew on his strong will, and through his clearly fearless body language, he sent out a message that the robber definitely understood. His choices were to retreat or get seriously hurt. He chose the first option and was later arrested thanks to the footage that we are watching right now. Number 5. A flying kick is the lesson. Sometimes, when you don't know the answer to the riddle, it could be a flying kick. Well, there shouldn't be much logic in what we just said, but in this case, it certainly proved to be applicable and the truth. The dude that we see sneaking around and exploring what he thought was an unguarded bike is about to find out the hard way that you shouldn't mess with people's things. As soon as he tried to steal it, he received one of those flying solutions we mentioned earlier right in the back. That will teach him. Number 6. Caught by a security camera. The bag that we see one of the thieves carrying could have foretold what was about to happen. As soon as the two walked into the store, they sprung into action. One of them threw what seemed to be a stone at the glass, protecting the phones, and considering it broke immediately, it wasn't doing a great job. Both of them then proceed to snatch all the phones that the box held, and we see that the woman who works there is quite in shock and essentially has no idea how to react. Luckily, the faces of both dudes were clearly caught on a security camera, which may have turned what they thought was a successful robbery into a different kind of experience. Number 7. A night with a frying pan. When you feel threatened in your own home, you may not have much time to choose the means through which you will exact revenge. In this fellow's case, it happened to be a frying pan that he grabbed and used as a metal weapon with which he struck the burglar multiple times before the fellow managed to slip through the gate. Since the homeowner managed to make enough noise, his security system also put cops on the burglar's trace. As soon as the guy manages to push this man away, we see a cop running after him and shortly apprehend him. Number 8. A grave mistake. The woman that you see here going about her business near her vehicle is about to be attacked by two guys who showed up from behind her driving a bike. They seem to believe she's an easy target considering she is alone, but what they don't know is that she is a police officer who is armed and always prepared to protect herself. As soon as she realized what was up, she drew her weapon and shot a few warning shots, chasing the thugs away and putting a stop to their attempt. Number 9. The homeowner was too much for thieves. Here's another sneaky thief who has gotten himself in a lot of trouble by trying to steal a car from the wrong man's porch. Not only was the homeowner vigilant and noticed what was going on, but he was also ready to react. He runs out, grabs the thug, and tries to pull his hoodie over his head and subdue him. He nearly manages to do so, and at the same time, from the back, we see another thief coming in to help his criminal friend. After throwing a few kicks at the brave homeowner, he briefly runs as another car thief joins the fight. And even that isn't their final count. Outnumbered but still fighting, this champion doesn't lose hope, and he finally manages to chase them away, saving himself and his car. Number 10. Thief owned by a martial artist. This thief entered a store that would prove to be a very hard lesson for him. He felt confident enough to walk in and grab the cash he saw in the register, but the skillful martial artist who works behind it turned out to be more than he could handle. After a few more moments of struggle, the man's training kicked in and he managed to perfectly subdue the guy by pulling off a chokehold. How much fight this fella had in him, we can also conclude, considering that he held on to the thief until cops came. Number 11. Not getting away with it. Here is a lethal shop worker who was having a regular day when a guy in a white hoodie pulled out a weapon and started threatening her with it, asking for all the money in the cash register. But the lady is nothing short of ferocious, considering that instead of pulling back, she actually leans into the fear she must have felt and attacks the dude, taking control of his weapon, going as far as to use the drawer and even a hammer to threaten him and finally chase him away. Good luck recovering your confidence, thief. Number 12. Thief subdued by a bystander. Before the event that we will see occurred, a thief has tried to steal a purse from an elderly lady, but a godsend bystander took justice into his own hands. He chased after the man and threw him on the ground. In this fall, we see the thief has lost the purse and is being pinned down and threatened by the bystander. Soon after, we see people gathering and one of them retrieves the stolen bag, going to return it to the old lady. Number 13. What was this guy hoping for? Yes, bad life choices can find any of us. But then again, if you're a thief, what could be your goal when you choose to steal a car right in front of a gym? The clerk, who was working at this place, noticed that something was up, and he walked out to confront the man. This turned into a brawl very quickly, but what the suspect here somehow failed to realize is that this guy is a well-trained martial artist. Well, this mistake he has paid for by receiving what's probably the beating of his life. Number 14. Chosen the wrong target. Thieves seem to be more and more courageous. This guy left his bike for just a brief moment, and that was enough for two guys to show up and try to steal it. However, they weren't ready for his reaction. Apparently, he had an eye on his bike the whole time, and as soon as he saw someone else's back sitting upon it, he went into rage mode. He ran and tackled the dude, immediately starting a fight with him, and not even flinching when he realized the other one was also there to put up a fight. His quick reaction chased them away and saved his bike. Number 15. Wrong dude to steal from. Now here is a complete story of how a thief has chosen the worst possible household to steal from. At first, we see that this guy has snuck up to someone's porch and stolen a bike from it. Soon after, the homeowner walks out, sees the general direction that this thief is driving towards, and decides to jump in his car and go looking for this guy. The search certainly took some time, but then again, what is a few minutes to spare for such an awesome prize as the chance to exact revenge on a bike thief? Once the homeowner had located him, he chose to hit the dude with his car, knocking him down. If that wasn't satisfying enough, he then walks out of the car and scolds the young thief, making him face the consequences of his unfair actions, right before the cops show up and close this case. Number 16. Seen by everyone. There's probably no simple answer to why these dudes thought it was a good idea to go and steal someone's bike in broad daylight. Not just that, but even in front of the owner of the bike. Everyone saw them, and many cameras caught the entire thing, so they won't be getting very far. Number 17. Nagged out of thieving. These guys invaded a home, but ended up being shouted out of it by an elderly lady. It tells a lot about their courage that three of them ended up running for their lives in fright after the woman caught them. Namely, one of them proves they aren't as sneaky as they hoped to be by dropping some of the things he was about to steal. This alerted the 78-year-old woman who was sleeping at the moment, and she ran out to scream at these thieves, which was enough to chase them away. One of them nearly fell over her on his way out. What a scary pajama-wearing granny this is. Number 18. Robber put in his place. The masked fellow that you see feels fairly confident that he can just go around and steal from multiple stores as he has previously done. Well, long story short, here's what he got back in return when he chose the wrong place to attempt and steal from. The two workers in the store joined their strengths, and while one of them held him pinned to the floor, the other grabbed a stick and delivered a fierce lesson. Almost crying his eyes out, the dude received a whooping that he will remember. Number 19. Anything can be a weapon. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and some of these emergencies may require one to put out some serious fires. This one started as out of nowhere. A guy reached over the counter and tried to assault a woman at a gas station before he planned to rob the place. However, with a quick reaction from her co-workers, this wasn't going to happen. One of them managed to pin him down, and the other jumped at the opportunity, grabbing the first thing that she could, which turned out to be a fire extinguisher. Number 20. A real-life action movie. If you're hungry to see some action, get ready for what's about to unfold. The red car you see passing by seemed suspicious to a nearby construction worker who paid close attention to what the dude who walked out of it was about to do. As soon as this thief reached for the workers' tools that were lying around, everyone realized what was going on, and they did not like it. As the thief got back to the car and tried to drive away, one of the construction workers pulled out this crazy stunt, jumping on the car and not letting them go. What a well-organized bunch these construction workers turned out to be. As soon as the perpetrators have driven away, some of them by foot and some of them by car, began their chase. Even neighbors noticed what was going on and walked out to witness as the workers managed to catch and subdue the thieves. Number 21. Thief got unexpected company. On a day that was like any other day, this store was visited by a suspicious fella. He entered, and although he looked pretty calm, he immediately told the worker that she was about to get robbed. Not being sure if he could be armed, the woman complied and started taking the money out. However, she also tried to hide her intention, and did so well, considering that she managed to press the panic button without him even noticing. What nerves does it take to calmly talk to someone who has a gun while stalling for time before the cops can come? And indeed, they came quite quickly. The worker was the first one to notice them in front of the store, so she walked away from the counter and into the safety that the back room offered. The cops immediately knew what was up and recognized the guy, considering that he seemed to have committed plenty of similar crimes. Through their quick reaction, they managed to put him on the ground where he was cuffed. Number 22. Old but not helpless. How much fight could such an old-looking woman put up is probably what this thief thought before she attacked the woman as she was retrieving money from an ATM. Well, as we can see, she quickly learned not to judge old and fearless books by their cover. Number 23. Tackled a sneaky thief. Here is a crazy turn of events, recorded through a dash camera of a guy who was passing by. As you will see, even though he didn't want to, he ended up being involved. The guy that you can notice walking next to the open truck from which workers were carrying things out into the store has clearly decided to attempt and grab some of the goods for himself. As he went for it, one of the people noticed it and ran out, pulling him away and throwing him to the ground. In his fall, the thief dropped the box and the damage was done. Enraged by everything that happened, the worker went to examine the damage when the thief started running. The worker then sent out a projectile that unfortunately ended up breaking a nearby windshield instead of sending the thief off with a headache. Number 24. Was it worth it? We all have some aspirations and things that we strive for. In the case of this hilarious wannabe thief, it turns out to be a dream of becoming a famous robber. Well, he probably hoped to become famous for his deeds rather than known by the public. And he was so determined in achieving this that instead of managing to break in, he just stole some milk and walked away after revealing his face to the camera. It seems, for him, baby steps are a way to go. Number 25. Thieves didn't get very far. As soon as the armed thieves walked into this store, clerks realized they meant business. The two of them quickly grabbed everything that they could from the counter, including the cash and all the cell phones they could find right there. They seem to have come prepared, considering they're well masked, armed, and have a bag in which they have placed all the valuables they have managed to snatch. Now, all of that would have turned them into great thieves were it not for the quick reaction of the cops who were on their trail and snatched them soon after. Number 26. A weed cutter used as a spear. This case happened at the beginning of 2024 when a man who was trimming a lawn noticed that a group of men in a car were acting suspiciously around his truck. As you can see, he put a stop to his work to observe what was happening and pick up any clues. It was then that he noticed that these thieves were actually going for some expensive equipment that he had in his truck. Unfortunately, his truck was parked a bit further from where he was working, so he tried to run and catch them in the act. Since he failed to do so, he used what he had with him as a weapon, throwing the weed cutter as a javelin, and quite a precise throw this was, considering that he hit the windshield and miraculously managed to throw one of the thieves out of the car. The rest of them were probably quite shocked by what happened, but the man wasn't going to let them off easily. He kept using the weed cutter to threaten the one that he managed to throw out of the vehicle. After some chase, and the neighbor joining in to help, the thief managed to escape. But this doesn't take away from the bravery that our hero showed. Number 27. Walk of shame. When your entire face is caught from so many angles, as is the case with this guy, you're either a model doing a catwalk or a very bad thief. In this case, the footage we are seeing is a walk of shame of a known package thief who later on ended up being arrested. As we can see, it was on multiple occasions that the fellow was caught. He actually showed us how shameless he is through how leisurely and unhurried his walk towards someone else's house is. As he's leaving with someone else's boxes, he doesn't even close the gate behind him. Well, this 44-year-old has received proper punishment for his behavior. Number 28. Car thief barely escapes. Here is a man with a plan. He apparently pulled off a scheme where he acted as someone interested in test driving expensive vehicles before he stole them, right in front of the workers. In this case, he certainly made a mistake. Not only was he caught on camera, but these two fellas seemed properly motivated to put an end to it. One of them was so mad that he actually threw a few fierce punches at the driver's window, trying to reach for the perpetrator. The other soon joined in, but expensive cars tend to be safe as well, so they couldn't do it. Still, the video is used as evidence against the thief. It's safe to say these thieves received more than just a life lesson. Some got a flying kick, others a frying pan, and many left bruised, with a little less dignity. Boldness without foresight is a dangerous game, especially when you're up against ordinary heroes. From martial arts to sheer willpower, there's no shortage of surprises when a thief oversteps their bounds. We hope you enjoyed the content that we prepared for you today. Thank you for watching.